Hey everyone, today is day 76 on the PCT. Yesterday I hiked 12.4 miles. We did Mather Pass, which was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It was very sketchy, a lot of snow on the front side, ice axe, micro spikes. We had to climb up a very steep snow patch. And then the other side had quite a bit of snow also, which was pretty steep, and some rock scrambles, which in my opinion, the rock scrambles are actually less safe than the snow. I have a harder time balancing on those. And then also my altitude sickness was really bad again yesterday. I was excessively dizzy all day long to the point of not even being able to balance. And really having a hard time with my footing, which made going over snow, ice, and rock scrambles down steep mountain passes quite difficult. But I made it, and it was gorgeous, and it ended up being a nice warm day for the most part, and then we ended up camping really low, which helped with the altitude sickness, and then had a really good night last night, and today we are approaching Muir Pass to cross it tomorrow. It's a long distance between Mather Pass and Muir Pass, so we didn't do a pass today. But it was nice to have a campsite low where my altitude sickness could kind of chill out a little bit, and then to have a kind of a warmer night. And I didn't have to sleep in my rain gear last night. I didn't have to put frozen shoes on this morning. It's been warm and beautiful all day today. So that's the story from the trail right now. Hey guys, today is day 77 on the PCT. Yesterday I hiked 10.2 miles and set up to do Muir Pass, which we woke up at 4 o'clock this morning and started hiking at 5:30 this morning to hike. Yesterday was so beautiful. It's just getting more and more beautiful every day. You're probably sick of hearing me say it, but the further we go, the more gorgeous it gets. It just never gets old. The temperature was warm during the day yesterday. It was a really, really great day. We did not do a pass yesterday because there was too much distance between the last pass and Muir Pass, so we just got ourselves set up and got all set to go. So yeah, it's pretty wonderful out here. I was pretty exhausted all day yesterday and just zero energy. Putting my pack on, just doing that took like everything. But today's a little bit better, so. Evolution Creek feeds to within 0.2 miles. Why it's so dangerous for crossing most of the time. We got lucky. It was only to our knees. Very easy for us. Hey everybody, today is day 78 on the PCT. Yesterday I hiked 14.5 miles. I crossed Muir Pass, which had 2 miles of snow before the pass and 2.7 miles of snow after the pass. But we got up really early, started hiking at 5:30, hit the snow crunchy, and just walked right over it. The snow was gradual, nothing crazy steep. I didn't fall coming down the back of the pass, which that's the first time I haven't fallen down a pass. There were no rock scrambles, and it was so stunningly beautiful. In my opinion, more beautiful than any of the other passes. So it's not just that it was easier, it was also gorgeous. We came down the pass into wooded areas and it got warm. I was able to switch to my shorts. It was a gorgeous day, temperature-wise. And we ended up camping here next to this river where it was warm enough last night that I didn't even have to fold up my rainfly. I slept really well last night, and then yesterday evening we also crossed Evolution Creek, which is known to be the most dangerous river on the PCT. It's typically very high, very swift. I've heard of people swimming across, people die in it most years. It's oftentimes up to your armpits or your chest, and immediately after the crossing it flows into rapids and waterfalls, which is what makes it so dangerous. You don't have time to recover if you get swept away. When we crossed yesterday afternoon, it was only up to my knees, and I'm 5'2", so just a little bit of fancy footwork on some slippery rocks and walked right across, and then one of the guys went swimming in it, and we took a little break there and then continued on to camp. So we got very lucky with the low snow year, very lucky with the low river so far, and it was extremely safe. And yeah, the really big stuff should be all done now, and now it should be just hiking through this high elevation in these passes in this gorgeous landscape. So I just came over Selden Pass. That's where I came from. It's very windy up here, I'm sorry. This is the view as I follow the trail to the other side of the pass. It's so insane. Guys, this is out here. This is in our country, in the US. Hey everyone, it's day 79 on the PCT. Yesterday I hiked 19.8 miles. It was a very long day. I did Selden Pass, which was stunning. I was so overcome with gratitude at the top to just that this all exists and that this is out here and that I have the opportunity to do this and to share it with you. And it was so overwhelming that I actually cried. And then we hiked down to camp and had some dinner, and it started getting pretty cold during dinner. After dinner, we had rain, hail, and thunder snow with some pretty good wind gusts. My tent held up great. I just had to brush the snow off a couple of times. But otherwise, it was just a chilly night and an early morning. And today I'll get into Vermilion Valley Resort which is where I'll be able to get, it's not a town, but I'll get some actual food, and then a couple more days of food to get me to Mammoth. And I'll get to do some laundry and get a shower because it's been 7 days now since I left Bishop, so. Hey everyone, it is day 80 on the PCT. Yesterday I hiked, I believe, 6.4 PCT miles. And then I hiked 1.7 miles of the trail to Vermilion Valley Resort. Then the trail provided. It was supposed to be a 6.7 mile trail down to the resort. The boats weren't running because of low hiker numbers and COVID and all that. And as we're hiking in the woods, Jeff said, wouldn't it be great if we walk out of these trees and there's a boat sitting there on the shore and we ask them and they take us to the resort. 5 minutes later, we walked out of the trees. There was a boat sitting at the shore. They were about to head back to the resort. They offered us a ride and we got to cut 5 miles off of the side trail to the resort, which was fantastic. Gave our legs a nice break after an almost 20-mile day the day before. It allowed us to get to the resort just before they closed down for breakfast, so we actually got to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at the resort yesterday, and then breakfast at the resort this morning before heading back on trail. So yesterday is considered a Nero because we did nearly no miles of the PCT. I got food for 3 days while at the resort. I got a shower and some laundry done. It was a really, really cool atmosphere. There were other hikers there. It was just very chill, a blast. We camped while we were there. And it just was a lot of fun and just real nice and relaxing. And then we got a boat ride back to up the trail this morning. And so we only had to hike 2 miles of the side trail this morning, and now we're back on the PCT headed towards Mammoth, which will hit, I don't know, tomorrow or the next day, probably the next day. But it was a nice little break. I still, I'm ready for a 0 when I get to Mammoth, and I'll have a big resupply there, but we're still trying to kind of figure things out because last I heard Mammoth is still kind of closed, maybe. We have to figure it out. Regardless, I have to get food there. I can't carry 11 days of food, so I don't really have a choice. I have to, their grocery store is open. If I have to sleep behind the grocery store, that's what I have to do in order to get food. So that's where we're at with things today, and I hope everybody's doing great.